Greetings and hallucinations. This is Thunder. I thought I'd talk about the bait and switch today. Yesterday I got pretty spiritual. I'm always spiritual. It's just a matter of shape-shifting into different modes. Man, there's so many things I really want to talk about to you people because I'm finding more and more people out there, kindred souls like myself, that understand, and so you guys can look at this as just like I'm talking to you. We're talking about what's going on, and I really appreciate some of the donations that I get from people that are there all the time. There's two or three that are, I think I should mention their name, Kay and Rick, and just want to thank you and appreciate what you do. I couldn't carry on with this unless I was able to get a little something, for the charitable organization CAMPFIRE Council, which is what this whole thing's run off of. Having said that, let's get to the subject at hand about bait and switch. I was thinking about that today, about how much that's used. The old bait and switch. The classic, well, we'll give you this, honest we will. And then you go in and, nope, that ain't quite what you get. Well, I was thinking about politics and how much they use that in politics. And I was like, sometimes I get really angry and like I just did some of my classic exercises that I do in the morning. First I do my Tai Chi. No, first I kind of combine it all. I do a little bit of yoga, stretching, and then I do some gathering of energy with the breath and the power that I talked about yesterday. Shamanistic stuff, actually. And then I release anger, and I might do a kung fu form or a scars form or a hand-to-hand combat form, or I might do a sword drill and just wipe an imaginary enemy out. Who knows, I might meet somebody on the street that might attack me, like I saw the other day. Although I usually just walk away from stuff. But why are the conditions the way they are? We got a bait and switch thing that happened here in the White House, and like most people won't talk about, they don't want to talk, they don't want to say Obama, they don't want to say the prez's name. And to me, all presidents are the same. They are. But you have to hold accountable those who were like in office at the time that you happen to be, and so many are in office. I got a friend that says politics, many ticks, many blood-sucking friggin' ticks, okay? And that's what they are. They're bait and switch, blood-sucking ticks. Now, Obama, I had some hopes that when he came in office with his little campaign lie, when you're native, you think, man, any person of color, let's just get Bush out of there. And see, that's a no-no. You can't think anybody's different than anybody else. But sometimes you slip into that mode where you like, God, something's got to be better than this, just like we're in it right now with Obama. And it's like, well, that's the person they say is in charge, right? Which really isn't, but they say that, okay? And he ran on this ticket of change you can believe in, and, you just felt like person of color, change you can believe in. Things are going to get better. Going to have a new perspective here. We're going to... Wrong. Things got 10 times worse. okay, under his watch. Obama. Obummer, they call him. Oh man, that's a bummer. Because that's what it turned out to be. I mean, loss of freedom, all kinds of executive orders, war after war after war, complete insolence to other nations, completely disregard, I mean, just a myriad of things. I could go on for a half an hour just saying about how the world changed. Change you can believe in. Oh my God. It's almost like saying, you know, up yours, here's some change you can believe in. That's what it is, actually. That's what it turned out to be. I don't get caught up in politics. I know this is a election year. And half the stuff, half the vituperative, angry, just all kinds of things. I mean, they're liars. They're criminals, including Obama. He's a criminal, okay? In case you didn't know it. And so are, Bonner, and I can't even think of their names. I hear them with Pelosi and Boxer and all those idiots. They're all criminals. They're all just basic criminals. They call themselves politicians. Well, they're lawyers, first of all, which doesn't really go well in my book. I know a lot of lawyers. One of my ex-wives is a lawyer, was a lawyer for a judge, and is still a lawyer, and I was with her when she went through law school, and I know all about the law, okay? And I know all about what kind of people go into studying the law. Did you know that Obama is a constitutional lawyer, supposedly? So does that mean that he became a constitutional lawyer to find out every way he could circumvent the friggin' law? I mean, because that's what he's doing, and I don't like it. And I just had to say that today, because a lot of people are afraid to say, oh, Obama. I'm not political. I don't have anything to do with politics, but that's the person they say who's running things, and he's the commander-in-chief. And if you're a chief of a tribe, like Geronimo or Crazy Horse or Sitting Bull, you're responsible for what the fuck happens. Okay? You don't get a pass. Okay? And so I'm not going to give Obama a pass if he's claiming he's chief. He's an idiot. And he's taunting Putin right now, and he's attacking the buck has to stop somewhere. Didn't some president say that? And he's condoning all kinds of actions with murder, okay, and taking over land, and he's allowing it. If not, okay, so if he's not in control, he should get the hell out of Dodge. How can you live with yourself if you're not in control? How can you be a puppet? Pull my strings. Here, give me a pen, I'll sign that. Nah, that doesn't cut it. And I'm not, again, I want to re-emphasize, I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat. I think they're all a bunch of liars. Okay? And these are the people that I talked about yesterday that are unconscious, that are not into their power, really. They give their power away to things. This is a good example of like giving you that power that I talked about in my last video. And if you haven't seen that, I recommend that you watch it. It's very spiritual and it's very enlightening. And that's one of the people that I'm talking about is not into their power, doesn't have a clue about what the real power is, the real source of energy, the ancient of ancients, the primordial chi, great spirit, the spirit that moves in all things. No love there, no compassion. So the bait and switch thing was, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And don't you find that prevalent in everything that you run into? I'm finding that it's like starting to be a modus operandi of the dark side. The modus operandi, and it's just like the outlaw thing. They used to do that. They used to come on all Mr. Nice Guy and then switch over to Darth Vader or something, or, you know, John Wesley Harding, the biggest gunslinger, killed more people in the West than anybody. But anyway, it's a bait and switch world, people, and it's like it happens with your rent, it happens with your medical, it happens with your housing, it happens with the finances in the world, it happens with the job that you go to. Oh, come right in the door here, we got, and then they browbeat the fuck out of you once you get a job. And everybody's complaining about there's no jobs. Good. Let's get back to working off the land. Oh, and I want to digress here just for a second and talk about lawyers again. I got a law school right down the street from me. I look at these kids going to law school in their, what do you call them? Plastic pants and, what do they call those things? Nylon, or, you know, in their little white shirts, and the girls and boys, and they're all going to law school, and they're all carrying, because my ex did this, carrying a shitload of heavy books under their arm in a briefcase, and they're just like, trudging off to law school and all that dry. Oh my God, that stuff is so horrible. The legalese, they call it. It's legalese. It's another language for lying. Okay? Legalese. Ease on into this, baby. That's what it is. It's another, basically it's another way to lie to you, only you don't know they're lying. You'll get a legal document, you'll look at it and go, now I can look at it. I can look at a legal document and go, oops. You start noticing things like it's possible and therefore and it may be and in case of and all the little catchphrases that are called loopholes or lie holes. Okay? Just like their mouths. So this is what we have to deal with. You know, and this is why we need to tap into that power I was talking about to you. So we can just vibe the hell out of these people. Just vibe them out of existence. You can do that, you know. We have the power. I can't stress that enough. You don't need to touch a weapon. You got a weapon right here. The weapon thing is in the duality on the physical boom, boom, boom. And I talk about, when I said I have so many things I'd like to talk about, it's like I shapeshift. You could probably see it. It's like, you know, I'll just shapeshift into the warrior or the shamanistic warrior, or sometimes I'll be the yogi, or sometimes I'll be because we're all just actors. But we can tap into certain things through that acting. Okay? It's like channeling. You know? It's like when a musician gets on stage and he channels the energy and he becomes the star and he just allows that to go through him. He may be an instrumentalist, he may be Cliburn, Van Cliburn, whoever. He'll channel that energy right through him and give it to the people, and that's what I do. That's what a shaman does. That's what a holy man does. That's what anybody that taps into the power does. So you can use your power against these bait and switch things, or these, like in my NLP. You need to go back and review some of my videos about mind control and NLP and belief systems. And I keep repeating it over and over so people will get it, but you have to understand that it's all done by manipulation and legalese and lying and bait and switch. Bait and switch means lying, basically. I'll give you this, but then they turned out to give you the shaft. Okay. I'll give you this in exchange for, if you do this, or if you comply with this, I will give you the shaft. Eventually. So we need to get into this, I don't know, we need to really get into this thing of taking back our power. I don't care what level you do it on. You can go out and arm yourself to the teeth and go out and do it that way, or you can do it gently, or you can be Gandhi, or you can, but do it. You know? If there's anything that I can't stand, it's inaction when there's problems. And people just accepting them instead of like, wow, this is a problem, we need to do something about it, we need to deal with it. Okay? Or you can just take the, there's always that silver lining, or the, what do I want to say here? There's always the two approaches, the yin and yang, as long as you're aware of it. See, that's the thing that I just try to make people aware of different things. But once you're aware, I guess I'll try to gear my videos towards being aware on a spiritual, mental, physical level of what's going on, what's being manifested in our reality by these idiots that have on the tinted glasses of non-reality or their own worldview. Okay, just like these are sunglasses, they tint the world differently than when I see through my eyes. Okay, and that's exactly what happens to the people's brains that get all this mud spattered on their clear glasses. I'm going to keep repeating stuff till people get it. Oh, I'm looking through a pair of glasses. I'm looking at it at a certain way, as a certain way. I have a certain worldview. I have a certain... I really like that saying about just letting the world form around you, or letting, living the rest of your life and letting the world come to you day by day. That's the only way you're going to get through this, people. I talk about stuff sometimes because we're getting near the political season. And there's just a harbinger of lying going on, and a harbinger of doom. And one side will always try to make the other side look like shit, basically. It's getting to the point where the other side doesn't have to make the other side look like shit. They just do. I mean, if you really look closely. In fact, every side does. That's the scary thing. How do you get out of certain situations that they've got us into? Or do they just... They use fear a lot. They use fear. And then fear produces what? Anger? Then you get angry because you get fearful, like, oh my God, what a... And then you get angry. Then you want to just beat the hell out of them with a stick. Seriously, knock some sense into their heads. Just for the fact that they use fear. It's like, hey, you're violating my space. You're violating my energy. You're violating my energy field. And it's not a matter of, whether you watch the news. You can fill your head full of that nonsense if you want. It's just that it comes to you. You can just walk out your front door. People just basically in your life tend to like give you shit. For what reason, I don't know. Or if they don't give you shit, then what they're doing is they're being non-compassionate, non-loving, non-caring, which to me is giving you shit. Or they're ignoring you, or they're not. That's why you have to keep your power and self-esteem and purpose. And you have to know yourself, your friends, and your enemy. I keep repeating some of these themes over and over again so that you'll get them. That's what true love is letting your fellow man know that you care about him. And you're not going to pull a bait and switch on them. You're not going to lie to them. You're going to love them. You're going to give them the primordial chi, the power. You're going to share your energy of love with them. You're not going to bait and switch them. You're not going to play the shell and pea game. I'm really going into a heightened sense of awareness right now. I don't know if you could notice that I slowed down. That happens to me. The energy will just start flowing. I mean, hell, you might even see my aura if I get to certain points. It's a little white line that you can see around the head or body. When the top of your head opens and the chakra and the energy centers, you can kind of see a glow, a little bit of a glow. I'm seeing it on myself right now because I can see a monitor, but okay, trying to get back to the real world here, what they call the real world. Sometimes I try to tune into that energy to let it guide me to say the things I need to say. I think some of the things I need to say right now are from a shamanistic point of view and a tribal point of view of what is real and what isn't real. What is real and what isn't real as far as the genuineness of a person. Okay. And that's what I try to project here is genuineness. I could be right or I could be wrong, but I'm truthful. I mean, I just speak what I feel. I say what I feel. I say what I see. If I'm not correct, then it's okay. You don't have to agree with everything that I put out here. I know some people like listening to me, though. Go figure. I guess it's because of that reason that I'm going to try to be genuine. I realize I'm not perfect. And when I talk about other things or other people or presidents and congressmen and just general assholes in general, I can say they're assholes and still be spiritual. That's what's so funny about it. Is like, he ain't spiritual because he said somebody was an asshole, but yet he just said you should be kind and compassionate. Well, I can have fun, can't I? To me, an asshole is the same thing as somebody that's a liar, doesn't keep their word, and they may be an asshole for that particular time, and then later on they might change. It's like the lawmen win on both sides of the law. I talked about that before. It's a weird world, isn't it? Man, but we really could use a breath of fresh air, don't you think, people? I mean, that's hopefully why I'm here, so that you don't have to listen to all this moronic stuff going on about. I try to come from a shamanistic spiritual point of view, and yet sometimes I get angry and I just shake my head and I get on people's shit. But it's okay to release anger as long as you balance it out with love, I guess. I don't know. I'm a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, just like we all are. But we have to help one another. We have to be there for one another because nobody else is going to be. But yet again, we have to remain, strong. In the martial arts teaches us that, and I'm deep into the martial arts, that. Teaches us several things. There's a breathing technique where you do in Qigong, which is an energy building series of exercises. And they have what they call crane breathing, okay, where you crane or stork. How that bird will stand on one little skinny leg with his other leg up inside him for all day, days and days. It just stands there and it pecks at the things that it wants when it wants them. Okay? If it sees a fish in the stream, it'll just get it quickly. But yet it'll just remain completely calm and still. There's a little metaphor or a little picture for you. So I do that breathing. There's a breathing that you do that is a certain technique that is called crane or stork breathing, and then there's one called turtle breathing. And that breathing encompasses envisioning a turtle while you're breathing, and the turtle is one of the creations on the earth that is one of the longest living animals, entities, beings, whatever you want to call them. Longevity. And you know why? Because they walk around with this shell of protection and they move real slow. Okay, they don't get excited. And what they do is they extend their head out once in a while and look around. Okay, you've seen turtles do that. Extend their head out and look around and then kind of right back into their shell and relaxing. So basically they balance themselves out by looking out, making sure, seeing what's going on, being aware, and they go back into that. That's kind of what I do. That loner thing, that protective thing, self-protection. You have to have that. Can't be out there all the time with your head out there because it'll get whacked off. So there's a breathing where you breathe, and you go through the motions and you envision coming into that shell and going out of that shell and coming into it for protection and looking around. And then there's the elk breathing or the fawn breathing or the deer breathing, which moves. All of these things elicit a certain energy, and so you got the stalwart energy of the stork, and you got the protective energy and the longevity of the turtle, and then the next one is the deer, which is known for, well, the deer is known for sexual energy. Okay. And so that elk energy, and you move that too. You move it up from right between your crotch Move it right on up your spine. That's a kind of breathing too, where you're like the buck, or you could be the receptive female, and you breathe that energy and you get that energy going, which is an alchemical way to do things. All this is kind of like shamanistic stuff, mystical stuff. And it gets that energy flowing. The reason that I bring this up is because we need this kind of thing in this bait and switch world. We need peace in a bait and switch world. That's what we need, people. We need love and peace. Most chiefs or most shamans or most tribal people or most indigenous people know this stuff. It's the yin and yang of life. It's the yin and yang of life. Something got me going today on that Obama thing and the bait and switch. I don't know. See, you see stuff on that's how much it affects you. If you just like click on the computer and read a couple articles, from people that are telling the truth, as opposed to people that are lying. And then when you read a couple of articles from the liars, it's just like, you can see it. And it's like, it's something that angers you, and I have to catch myself. But like I said, I do some martial arts, and I practice with a wooden sword, which can also be a walking stick, by the way. And I'll just assault an imaginary enemy, but that enemy is really within myself. I'm destroying the anger within myself. I'm releasing it. I'm letting it go. And then I try to breathe in some good chi and blow out the stagnant chi, and breathe in the good chi right through the skin even, because it's not just oxygen. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good? Breathing into the abdomen, letting the diaphragm fall. Gets the energy flowing, releases tension. I'll leave you with that today. I think I'm hitting that mark, although I got my shades on and I can't see a damn thing. Just beware of the bait and switch thing and it making you angry. Guess there's a lesson in this for you today about how thunder sometimes gets angry and at these people out there that are just so ignorant. And again, I say it's not their fault, but I was brainwashed too. Everybody was from birth. Don't you at some point realize that you're might be perpetrating? I guess it doesn't matter to these people. I just don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand why people purposely create havoc. Even though if they make $1 million or they think they possess the world. They think they own the world, and they may very well own their world. I mean, they very well may own Ferraris and have women in line waiting for them and drinks and partying, and I don't know what they do. Hell, you don't need to have $1 million to do that, though. I don't know. Sometimes this whole world seems like a cosmic joke, to me. It's like the life between eternities. Where's the meaning of it? Sometimes you just shake your head and go, there must be a meaning beyond what we can even comprehend as to why we're here. God, we think so much of ourselves as people, don't we? It's like, and we're so insignificant in a lot of ways. But yet none of us is insignificant. That's what they want us to buy into. But by insignificant I mean, sorry, this thing keeps going black on me here because the computer goes into sleep mode and then it recovers and I turn all kinds of different colors. And isn't that fun? And then it throws me off my thing because I got to adjust for it. Maybe it's a little sign for me to like get the hell out of Dodge or something off the airways. Or I am going a little long on this video. I'm kind of rambling a little, but there's so many things, like I say, I want to talk about. I just like talking like in conversation. I love hearing the comments from the people out there that put up with my revelations of insanity. No, just kidding. It's an insane world, isn't it? I mean, it sometimes gets you to wondering whether you're insane or they are, because you think, man, can that many people be off their rocker? But then, when I get comments from people like Down to Earth and Fanny Fryer and Fozzie and all these different people that are on the same page as me or that like what I say, then I figured, well, I'm getting close. To something. I don't know. There must be some other kindred spirits and souls out there that are on my wavelength, thank God. It's just that I'm not around them on a personal level, and that would be really nice to be just like one big community and hang out and like a tribe, Anyway, I'm rambling on. I'll get out of here. Just remember what I said today. I don't know what I'm going to name this video. Bait and switch, or I don't want it to be negative, and I don't know. I'll think about it, But whatever it is, just pay attention to what I'm saying, go with the flow, and get out of it the little gold nuggets that might be in what I have to say. It's like panning for gold, Thunder ain't perfect. Okay, so I'm out of here, and adios. Go with God, your God, whoever that may be, whether it be yourself or your higher self. But it's a nice saying, isn't it? It's a gentle saying, adios.